What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Just getting back from the crib, or getting back on my way to the crib, because I actually was out and about doing a little bit of volunteer work. You guys will hear a little bit about that later. But I was in a studio down in Detroit and I did some volunteer work. You see, I got my G-Mobile, got the Hyundai, you know what I'm saying? Having a good time, kicking it with the people. And then people start tagging me on Instagram. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of insight, and then I'm going to cook, and then we're going to have a whole live stream on Wednesday night. I'm going to dedicate it. I'm going to make some time for y'all today. I'm on my way to the crib, and people start tagging me on Instagram. And so they start tagging me on a post, and it was this guy named Yada Awakening. Now, I'm a fan of Hardly Initiated. What up, big dog? How you feel? I'm a fan. I like the headband. I'm a fan of Hardly Initiated, right? And so I like to see different people come on their platform. Sometimes I even react to some of the things that they say on the platform, such as the Samantha Lee interview and things like that. But more often than not, I just like to enjoy a lot of the different things that happen on the platform. Lately, they've been having a lot of guys that's been simping on the platform, neither here nor there, but I keep most of my thoughts to myself. And so I sent them a super chat based off of some of the egregious, and when I say egregious conversations that have been happening on the platform last night before I started live streaming with Q, right? And they had this guy on there named Yada Awakening. Now, I had never heard of this guy before in my life, but he gave the presentation, right? He had the clothes, he had the buffs. Anybody from Detroit understand the Cartiers. But then he started speaking down to men, basically telling them that 50-50 is bad and all of this other type of stuff. And he was married and everything like that, right? So I just took him at his word. But again, I didn't agree with what it is that he said. But instead of making ad hominem attacks about him personally, I said that I didn't like the same behavior. And then when I put it in the chat and they invited me up on the platform, I communicated that, I believe, pretty clearly and effectively. But I also understand the audience, right? The audience that was observing it was a bunch of single baby mamas inside of the chat. And we don't care anything about that. We're going to say what we want to say, and we're going to do what we do because it's the truth. It's not your truth. It's not their truth. It's the truth. Again, keep in mind, I had never heard of this guy before a day in my life. But the host was cool, and they know who I am, and so they invited me up to the platform. And so I gave my piece. And I could kind of sense the spirit of who he is. He got this feminine energy, even though he pretends to move in his masculinity. The first sign of it was that he started throwing ad hominem attacks because he didn't know who I was. And so he started talking about how broke men do this and all of that and so on and so forth. Cool. We're living that. I'm a regular guy just like everybody else. I'm driving my Hyundai Tucson right here. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? It's not about money. That's not even a conversation that we having. We having a conversation based off of relationships. And I stayed in frame. I'm just chilling because it didn't mean anything. And so even when he threw ad hominem attacks and started talking about, well, broke men do this and whatever, and he emphasized the sentiment of this and that, and his father must have been this and all of that. It doesn't matter, because the only thing that you should get upset about, or the only thing that you should go into defense about, is if it's false, right? And if it's false, is if it's true. Let me rephrase that. This is just going to be a one take. We're not doing no cutouts or anything. I'm a C student. Bear with me. Is if it's true. Now, we all know that my father was the man, and we all know that I'm not broke. You know what I'm saying? I may not be the richest man in the world, but I'm certainly not broke. And I've been married longer and more successfully than the overwhelming majority of these guys that's giving you internet advice. And so all of that just flew over my head. And because he didn't know who I was, you got to see the opportunities that came along with a real conversation, when a real man started having a conversation with you. And so when they started throwing these assumptions and ad hominem attacks, you know that it starts to hit them. Either way, good conversation. I still respected them at the end of the day, and I said, yo, we should be able to have a disagreement without attacking each other, and we just got differences of opinion, and we did. And if y'all want to go to watch the Hardly Initiated episode, feel free to go and check them out, right? But here's the other side of it, right? When people start tagging me on Instagram tonight, on my way back from doing volunteer work, after I left the studio in Detroit, because it's very cold and we got to be able to support the people that cannot necessarily help themselves sometimes. He used a dead man's name in order to try to get more clout with the audience, women that apparently he's selling his products to. Now, obviously that prompted me to do a little bit of research to find out who this guy was, because I thought we was just having a conversation impromptu on a platform. I'm not gonna use that because I just want to know who it is that's posting and who hardly initiated and is inviting on his platform. And I see that he went viral maybe about a few weeks ago or a month ago because he was talking down on another dude, telling him that he wasn't a real man. We gonna get to that in the live stream tomorrow. Don't worry about it. But here's the thing. This is what I want to emphasize to you guys, because again, he used Kevin Samuels' name, and then he said Kevin Samuels' student, and I guess he was saying something like he was schooling me. And then he chopped up the video, and it's very badly chopped up in order to try to make it seem like he was really kinky gang. He wasn't. What makes people like me so dangerous is that A, I'm not under duress. B, they can't throw ad hominem attacks. C, I am successfully married to a black woman and I got the background to be able to substantiate it. And then D, I still stand on masculinity while I don't believe in simping like a lot of these other guys believe in. And because I'm so dangerous to them, the women are looking for anybody to latch on to, even though they're not giving them any kind of real information on how they can then be successfully married also. So what these guys do is that they throw attacks on the men, and they not actually helping the community become better because they're not giving any real game or advice on how it is that you can successfully be married. But they're using this as an opportunity in order to continue to build a fan base. And so what he did was he threw Kevin Samuels' name in it, and then he used a clip from me in order to get more clout. But I don't think that he knew what tree he was barking up, because I'm always here for it. I'm not that far removed. Whether it's in the financial space or whether it's relationship based, or whether it's just standing on your principles as a man and not simping for women that don't even have your best interest at heart, I think that you can have it all. I think that you can be successfully married, not be a simp, and be able to get all of the finances and resources without finessing people with your bad advice. So we're not going to throw no ad hominem attacks. We just going to keep it G. But make sure y'all tune into the live stream tomorrow night, because I think that it's going to be a very entertaining conversation. Again, I don't knock nobody hustle. Go ahead and do what you got to do. It's a lot of Derrick Jacksons that seems to be rising from the ashes, giving advice, and women leap on to any advice that then goes against the narrative of what they're supposed to be doing in their household in order to really be able to level up and become successfully married. But we going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Yeah, tune in tomorrow night. It's a lot of simps. And the most dangerous thing, even more dangerous than a woman that's outside of her purpose, is a simp that enable her. And we see a lot of it happening. So we got a lot more work to do. I'm about to fill up the G-Mobile so we can head back down to the studio and do a little bit of volunteer work on the weekends, because I'm not going to drive it again to the weekend. I got the Lakers game, so I'm going to be sitting courtside with that. Make sure y'all tap in. And then we going to live stream on a Wednesday night. Perfect timing. So glad that you put that up. We can go there. I got time. I'll be a Huckleberry. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.